This is the side 2 row. You can see that there's cables that are moving to the right and cables that are moving to the left. And your cables will continue moving in the direction they're currently moving. So let's see how we do that. As we work between cables, we will be following the 3 rules of fission knitting. So we'll be purling all the background stitches and slipping any design stitches from the back with our marl in front. I've come to my first design stitch. It has 1 loop on the needle and I can see the design on the front. To move to the left, this design stitch will trade places with the background stitch to the left of it. To do this, I'm going to slip this design stitch to a cable needle and hold it in front. I'll purl the background stitch from the left needle, and then I'll work from the cable needle this design stitch by moving my marl to the back and knitting through the back loop with the color of that stitch. You'll see that the design stitch has moved to the left of the background stitch, and both stitches were worked as per the rules of fission knitting. The next cable moves to the right, so I'll work to 1 stitch before the design stitch. These next 2 stitches will need to trade places so that this design stitch moves to the right of this background stitch. I'll slip this background stitch to a cable needle and hold it in back. And then I'm going to work this design stitch by moving my marl to the back and knitting it through the back loop with the color of that stitch. And then I'm going to purl that background stitch off of the cable needle. I'm going to work across to the next design stitch now. As we're trying to move the cables to the left and to the right, we might encounter these situations. Here I see that this orange design stitch wants to continue moving to the left, but immediately left of it is a design stitch from the back, and it wants to move to the left of this background stitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this jump over this background stitch. We can see something similar happening on this side. Here we have a design stitch and it's wanting to move to the right, but immediately to the right of it is a design stitch from the back. So we're going to have this stitch jump over that design stitch and move to the right of that background stitch. So let's take a look at both these situations. I'll slip this design to the cable needle and hold it in front. The next stitch is a design stitch from the back, so it's slipped with the marl in front. And the next one is a background stitch, so it's purled. Next, I'll knit through the back loop of this design stitch on the front by moving my marl to the back and knitting it with only the color of the stitch. I've come to this situation where I have 1 background stitch before this design stitch, and you can see there's a design stitch from the back in between. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip the first 2 stitches to the cable needle and hold it in the back. I'm moving my marl to the back and I'm knitting this one through the back loop with the purple only. And then I'm going to work these 2 stitches off of the cable needle. The first one's a background stitch, so I'm going to purl it. The next one's a design stitch from the back, so I'm slipping it with my marl in front. Sometimes the cables on the front and back will need to cross. The cable on the left will always cross over the cable on the right on this design. I've moved to this place where this design stitch on the left wants to cross over the design stitch on the right. So what I do is I slip the design stitch on the right to the cable needle and I hold it in back. I move my marl to the back. I knit the first stitch with the yarn that is the same color as the stitch, and then I work the second stitch with the same color as the stitch.